In the quiet villages of Oduma and the neighboring lands, fear began to spread like night fog. Every week, someone disappeared, first a young boy fetching firewood, then a woman returning from the stream, then a farmer walking home after sunset. Nobody saw anything, but the cries of families echoed through the valley. At first, people thought it was just bad luck. Maybe the missing ones had traveled. Maybe they got lost. But as the days grew darker and the disappearances continued, whispers began to rise. There is an evil among us, the elders murmured. Someone is taking our people. In the center of all these whispers was a man named Okeke. He lived alone in an old mud house at the edge of the forest. People never visited him, and he never attended the village gatherings. At night, strange lights flickered from his compound, and villagers claimed to hear chanting carried by the wind. Some said he walked with spirits. Others said he searched for power. What they did not know was the truth. Okeke had been kidnapping villagers for dark rituals he believed would bring him wealth and greatness. Deep inside the forest, he had carved a secret shrine. There he performed his evil sacrifices, thinking each life taken would give him more power. Fear grew, and trust faded. Women no longer walked alone. Children were kept indoors. Men moved in groups. Yet still, people vanished. Finally, the chief of the villages, Chief Ogbuefi Nana, could take it no more. He beat the great talking drum, and its deep sound traveled through the land, calling everyone to a mighty meeting in the village square. When the villagers gathered, their faces were filled with sorrow, mothers crying for their lost children, fathers angry and afraid, elders shaking their heads in worry. Chief Nana stood tall with his staff and spoke loudly. My people, enough is enough. Who is taking our sons and daughters? Who hides in the shadows and brings evil to our doors? If anyone knows anything, speak now. Murmur spread like fire. Some whispered, it is Okeke. Others nodded in fear. A few looked away, afraid to accuse a man who might hold dark powers. The chief raised his hand. If it is him, we must be brave. Evil grows where silence lives. At that moment, an old hunter named Ojini, who often roamed the forest at night, stepped forward. I have seen footprints leading toward Okeke's side of the forest, he said. I have heard voices where no man should be. I believe the evil we fear is hiding in his shadows. A chill passed through the crowd. The chief struck the ground with his staff. Then tonight, we go as one people. We will enter the forest. We will find the truth. And we will end whatever darkness has taken our families. The villagers agreed, though fear shook their hearts. That night, holding torches and weapons, they prepared to march toward the forest, toward Okeke's hidden shrine. That night, the moon was full, hanging low like an eye watching over the land. The villagers gathered with burning torches, spears, machetes, and sticks. Fear trembled in their hearts, but the cries of the missing ones gave them courage. Chief Ogbuefi Nana stood at the front. Tonight, he said, we work for justice. The villagers responded with a determined roar, and together they marched into the forest path that led toward Okeke's compound. The forest was dark, too dark. Even with their torches, it seemed the trees wanted to hide something. Strange sounds came from deep within, hoots, whispers of wind, and something else, something human. As they moved, Ojini the hunter raised his hand. Stop. Listen. A faint cry echoed through the trees, weak, trembling, like someone calling for help. The villagers froze. That is a human voice, whispered Mama Yugadi, tears forming in her eyes. Maybe my son. The villagers hurried in the direction of the sound. Soon they reached a clearing. At its center stood an old hut made of palm branches and clay. Smoke rose from its roof. Strange markings were carved into the ground, symbols no one in the village recognized. Then they saw it. A giant wooden door covered with chains and charms. Behind it came muffled voices, people crying, calling for help. This is it, said Ojini. Okeke's shrine. Chief Nana stepped forward and lifted his staff. Break it. 5 strong men rushed to the door. With sticks and machetes, they smashed it until the chains gave way and the door burst open. Inside, the villagers gasped. They found 6 missing villagers, weak, tired, frightened, but alive. When they saw the chief and the villagers, they cried out, "Help us! Okeke locked us here." Mothers screamed in relief. Fathers burst into tears. But the joy was mixed with fear. Because Okeke was nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, a deep voice came from behind them. "You should not have come." The villagers turned slowly. There stood Okeke, holding a staff decorated with feathers, bones, and a small black calabash. His eyes glowed strangely, and he wore a long robe painted with symbols. He looked furious. "These people belong to me," he shouted. "Their lives will open the gate of riches for me." The villagers stepped back in fear. Chief Nana raised his staff. "Okeke, your evil ends tonight. You cannot sacrifice our people. You cannot bring darkness to our land." Okeke laughed. "You are too late, chief. I have the power of the spirits with me." Thunder rumbled even though the sky was clear. Okeke lifted his calabash, and a strange wind blew through the clearing, causing torches to flicker. The villagers trembled. But Ojini the hunter stepped forward. "Your spirits are nothing compared to the power of the truth." With one quick move, Ojini threw his spear. It hit Okeke's hand, knocking the calabash to the ground. The calabash shattered, releasing a cloud of black smoke that disappeared into the air. Okeke screamed in anger and pain. The villagers rushed forward. Before Okeke could escape, they surrounded him. He tried to fight, but he was overpowered and tied with ropes. Chief Nana spoke firmly, "You will answer for every life you try to destroy." The villagers carried Okeke back to the village. He was handed over to the authorities, and the shrine was destroyed completely. The missing people were taken home. Mothers cried with joy. Fathers held their children tightly. Songs of victory rose through the village. From that day, a new law was made. No one shall be allowed to practice dark rituals in the land. No one shall hide evil in the shadows. And the village shall always stand as one. Peace returned, and the fear that once controlled the people disappeared like smoke in the wind. Even though peace slowly returned to the villages, the people still carried the scars of fear. The nights felt quieter than before, and every rustle of wind reminded them of the darkness they had escaped. But justice was not yet complete. The next morning, the chief and elders gathered at the palace square. Okeke was brought before them, bound tightly with ropes. His eyes, once filled with greed and pride, now flickered with fear. Chief Nana stepped forward. "Okeke, you have caused tears, fear, and darkness in this land. Before we send you to the authorities, you will speak. How did this evil enter your heart?" Okeke lowered his head. At first, he refused to talk. But after
I wanted to be
some
rich, but see what's
he began to
happened.
confess in a trembling voice. "I wanted to be rich, more than anyone. I met a man from another land who told me that the quickest way to wealth was through sacrifice. He taught me the rituals and gave me the charms. I believed him." He swallowed hard. "I did not think it would come to this. I did not think the spirits would demand so much." The villagers murmured angrily. A woman whose
I
daughter
want
had
my
gone
daughter
missing stepped
back.
forward, tears in her eyes. "You knew what you were doing, Okeke. You stole our children. You brought suffering to innocent people." Okeke looked away, unable to speak. Chief Nana raised his staff. "You will be handed over to the law. But the evil you planted will never take root here again." The elders agreed that the village needed spiritual cleansing. They called upon Dibia Odnaig, the oldest and most respected spiritual healer in the region. Odnaig arrived with white chalk, palm leaves, and a calabash of pure water from the sacred stream. He stood in the center of the village square and lifted his hands. "Evil has walked in our land," he said, "but the unity of the people has defeated it." He marked the earth with chalk symbols. He sprinkled the sacred water around the square and prayed for protection. "Let no shadow return. Let no darkness stay. Let peace take root again in every home." The villagers repeated after him, their voices rising like a powerful chorus. A calm wind blew through the square, as if the land itself sighed with relief. The 6 rescued villagers were taken to their families. They were weak and shaken, but they were alive. Papa Yuboni's son, Chidi, kept holding his father's hand, afraid to let go. Mama Yugodi cried as she bathed and fed her missing daughter, Nkechi. The villagers brought food, mats, clothes, herbs, and support to all the rescued victims. No one was left alone. Everyone helped. The unity touched the chief's heart. This is how a people must live, he said. Together. But one question remained. Who was the strange man who taught Okeke the dark rituals? Ojini the hunter approached the chief privately. My chief, he said, I have a feeling the man Okeke spoke of is still somewhere near the forest. We must remain watchful. Chief Nana nodded. You may be right. Evil sometimes hides in the shadows, waiting for another weak heart to use. He gathered a group of trusted men and ordered them to watch the borders of the land. Patrols were set up at night. Fires were lit along the forest paths to keep spirits and intruders away. Weeks passed. Slowly, laughter returned to the villages. The markets became busy again. Children began playing outside without fear. The air felt lighter, cleaner. One evening, the chief stood before his people. Let it be known, he said, that darkness tried to break us, but we stood together. From now on, no one will walk alone at night. No stranger will enter our land without being known. And no soul in this land will ever disappear again. The villagers applauded. Drums sounded. Songs of triumph rose into the sky. Peace had returned, stronger than before. But far away, deep in the dark part of the forest, an old footprint remained. A sign that the mysterious man who taught Okeke was still out there. Watching. Waiting. For the next weak heart. Don't forget to subscribe, share, comment and likes for more videos. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe for more videos. Thank you.